So excited to have you all join me today for another episode of Let's Talk. Today I'm going to give you a sneak peek into a new email series that I have already launched, and many parents are tapping in and gaining new skills and new resources every week right to their email. So, what's been the inspiration behind this, you might be wondering. I'm a mother. I have 6 kids, and how well I interact with my children is a constant source of attention. I want to know if they're receiving um, my overtures, I guess, for connection. Are they receiving it? Is it landing? Or are they feeling kind of frustrated or disconnected from me? What do I need to do to step up and make this relationship more whole and sturdy and resilient? This is something I'm constantly thinking about, so I'm constantly looking for ways to help other parents, to support them in their mission to have a strong relationship with their children. So that's what this is all about. And in 8 weeks, you can gain a tip every week, a new one, and learn something useful and effective to help you to build that relationship with your child, no matter how old they are. A lot of these tips that you're going to get are applicable for a little child, a toddler, all the way up to an adult child. And today I'm going to share the first tip. So you sign up for this 8-week free email series and you'll get this one in your inbox first. And it's called the 5-minute greeting rule. And I love sharing this one because it's such a small and simple way that you can open up that feeling of safety in your own nervous system and inspire it in your child's nervous system, no matter how old they are. Because your child is taking in information all the time when interacting with you, noticing your tone of voice, noticing your facial expression, noticing if you're not making eye contact, noticing if you're ignoring them, or if you're kind of brushing them off and not really giving them your undivided attention. Your kids are noticing. Their nervous system is tapping into this. And I love to bring my little brain model because we have to realize our brain is wired for connection. Our brain wants to see how we can build connection with our parents, and as parents, we want to build it with our children. We're wired for it. This is nature, this is natural, this is what it should be, this is intended. So when we have a strong bond between parent and child, the child's brain development actually improves, and their ability to learn improves. Their ability to feel safe in the world and to feel confident that they have a place in the world and that they can make a contribution and that they can have goals, they can achieve whatever they dream of. That is conditioned on how well this interaction between parent and child is reinforcing that, reinforcing their sense of self-worth, reinforcing their sense that they can achieve, that they can be successful. So the 5-minute greeting rule is a simple way to start every interaction with the sense of, I accept you and I care about you and you're a valuable person to me. So the 5-minute greeting rule is literally this. Every time that you enter the room with your child, either first thing in the morning, everybody's waking up and we're getting ready for the day. How is that first 5 minutes of the day going to look? In this rule, if you're following it, you're expressing love. You're showing in your face that you're happy to see your child. You're not criticizing. You're not telling them what they're doing wrong. They're going too slow, or they need to find their shoes, and if they always put their shoes in the right place, they always know where they are, right? And what we're trying to do is just establish a sense of we are part of the same unit. We are part of something special and beautiful and wonderful. We have a relationship. We have a community in our home. And the 5-minute greeting rule just kind of helps create a buffer zone of showing love, showing up in a kind and responsible and compassionate way before having to teach and guide and you know, help our kids learn a new skill. That comes later. The skill of being quick to get ready, or the skill of time management, of being responsible for knowing where their shoes are or their backpack. All of those are skills that can be taught and mentored and nurtured later, but in this first 5 minute window, and make it stretch out as long as you can. There is no criticism. It is all about just that warm love feeling and creating that, um, helping your child create that sense of they have a place and they're welcomed and they're wanted. I was totally astounded when I was reading um, the book "The Body Keeps the Score" by Bessel van der Kolk, and he talks a lot about how important the parent-child relationship is, and when there is abuse and mistreatment, how that affects the child's brain development, how they feel in their body, and it carries with them. Some of the statistics, I've been carrying around this little sticky note because I had to like write these notes down, and I've been carrying it around because it just had such an impact on me. If we could end childhood abuse and mistreatment, and not all parents are abusive, but so many of us, we really could step up how well we treat our children. We're not abusive, but we could change our tone. We could be less grumpy. We could be less demanding or cynical or sarcastic. Those things are harmful. They don't help our children increase their self-confidence. It doesn't inspire them to believe in themselves. When the people who have the most importance and significance in their life always seem annoyed to have them around, how is that supposed to be internalized by a child? The people that they emulate and they want to please and they want to get approval from just don't seem to have any warmth towards them, or it's very infrequent, or it's very just kind of comes and goes. It's not consistent. There's nothing really reliable about the relationship. You just never know what you're going to get. That breeds instability in a child. And what we're trying to do with the 5 minute greeting rule is to help bring stability, bring that foundation of here's where I belong. Here is where I am accepted for who I am. Imperfections and all, right? So here's some statistics. So if we were able to end child abuse and um, and end the way that some parents are responding to their kids, and a lot of times it's because that's how they were responded to. That's how they were treated. That's all they know. It didn't start with them. It starts generations back. But we still have the responsibility to not perpetuate things, right? So this is very telling. If we could end child abuse, depression rates would likely drop by 50%. Alcohol abuse could diminish by 66%. Suicide rates could drop by 75%. And domestic violence could drop by 75% if we could end childhood abuse. And again, not every parent who gets angry, not every parent who spanks, not every parent who yells is an abusive parent. It's more of a sense of how frequent and how consistent and how pervasive is the yelling, the arguing, the belittling, criticizing. How much of the time of the interaction is based on that kind of interaction? All parents, take that breath. We all get upset. We all get frustrated. We all lose our temper at some time, and maybe even spank. And we might find ourselves criticizing and being sarcastic. It doesn't mean you're abusive. It doesn't mean you're an abusive parent. But it does mean that you have some skills to work on. This is something that I've also been working on, to not raise my voice, to not get really easily triggered and upset, to be more patient, more open to looking at what is the behavior underneath, or the unmet need or underdeveloped skill underneath their behavior. Um, and just making rules for myself, setting limits for myself. Okay, I'm starting to get irritated. I'm going to step away. I'm going to take a breath, calm it down. I'm going to also manage myself better, where if I'm more likely to get anxious and angry with my children because of a time constraint, we're trying to hurry out the door, I need to do better at preparing my time and preparing for, I only have this much time to get everybody out the door, so I need to be better prepared. I need to have things already loaded in the van. I need to make sure that I have given myself enough time, or I have a reasonable expectation for my kids. That's on me. I've got to be responsible and take responsibility for how I am reacting and responding. The 5 minute greeting rule is a way to help decrease or to de escalate. If you're already upset, you need to step away and then come back and try to connect with your child, help that child to feel like this is where they belong before you go into what might be looked at as like a criticism, something that you need to bring up, something you need to address, something that needs to be changed or taken care of. Yes, you have to do that as a parent, but we need to be sure that the very first thing is for children to feel like they belong and they are loved and they're accepted, and that they have that their home is safe. The relationship has a feeling of safety. They know they can depend on us to have their back. We're going to teach them, but we're also going to be that nurturing that they need. They need that source of care and love. And I see you, I hear you. We want to do that. That's so, so important. So the 5 minute greeting rule in the morning, when you wake up, when your kids wake up, if they're late getting up, they slept through their alarm, instead of yelling at them and nagging them or criticizing, just say, hey guys, guess what? I think you slept through past the alarm. How are you this morning? I love you. I'm so happy to see you. Did you sleep well? Did you have funny dreams? What did you dream about? Guess what? I had this weird dream. This happened. Start a conversation. The 5 minute greeting. That's how it looks in the morning. And saying, oh, what would you like for breakfast? Here, let's get this going. I'm going to take care of you. I'm not going to do everything for my kids. My goodness, no. From kindergarten, they have their own alarm clocks. They get themselves up. They get themselves dressed. And even a little bit older than that, they're making their own breakfast. They're getting it ready, because I want them to learn to be independent and to be self-responsible. So I don't do everything for them, but I do want to be in the kind of the hostess of this morning. I'm the host. I'm going to say, oh, look, come on into the kitchen. Here's this. These are the options. What would you like? Um, and so I want you to think about now, what would the 5 minute greeting rule look like after school? Kids are coming home. Maybe you pick them up. Maybe they come on the bus, or maybe they are picked up by a sitter, and then you come home from work and that's your first 5 minutes seeing each other at the end of the day. What does that look like? If you're following the 5 minute greeting rule, you're not coming into the situation like, well, you sure made a mess and you left it like that and you didn't do what I asked you to do and you forgot your water bottle at school again. And how could you do that? Why would you leave your coat at school? And I can't believe that, you know, or you're late. Where have you been? So if you start on the attack, they're going to be on the defensive. So the 5 minute greeting rule, again, we're going to teach, we're going to lay out the law later, but in that first 5 minutes, we're just being human beings, establishing that connection that human beings need. So you're going to ask questions about school, ask questions about if they work. How was work today? How was your shift? You're going to ask questions about, what did you have for lunch? What did your friends do at recess? What did you want to do? What did you read? Just asking questions, helping them to feel like this is a safe place also to vent. Maybe there was something frustrating with a friend at school and they need someone to talk to. So if you open yourself up to that, they can unload. They can unload what's been bothering them, what's been on their mind. Okay, 5 minute greeting rule. How does this look when you've just all been home all day? But throughout the day, can you practice this? Of course. Think about every single time you walk into the room. Oh, it's time to get them off the PlayStation, or it's time to clean up the room, or it's time to do a chore, and you're having to cause a shift in what's fun and easy for them, and a given assignment they're not going to be excited about, because their survival brain wants to keep doing the thing that's pleasant. They doesn't want to stop doing that, and definitely doesn't want to do something that feels painful like cleaning. Um, but again, establishing connection first. Walking into the room, ignoring the mess, blinders on, um, and just, hey, oh, this looks fun. What game is this? Oh, which level did you get to? That's really cool. So on your next turn, what do you want to do? What's your accomplishment? What's the next, like, level up, whatever? I don't know. I don't play video games. What's the next thing you're trying to do? The next boss you're trying to beat? What's that going to be? And just get them talking about it and say, oh, I'm so glad you've had fun. Well, guess what? Now it's your time. Your time is up and it's time to get off. It's time to turn it off. And yeah, the longer they've been on to, though, is going to be the harder it is to get it off. So make sure you have reasonable play limits, playtime. It doesn't need to be hours and hours and hours. So that's a discussion for a different day. But think about how that will help them to be more likely to accept a limit, accept a limitation that now it's time to turn it off. If you come in curious and interested, the gaming system is not the enemy. You are not the enemy. Together you're, oh, this is great. And then you can say, all right, well, you're going to have a turn again on another day. And so that's exciting. So now we're going to turn it off and let's go do this. And maybe you can find something that would be less painful to do right away. Let's go have a snack. What would you like? Let's see what we've got. Um, so that can be a good way to transition and use the 5 minute greeting rule to help them transition and ease out of screen time use, because their brain is getting so saturated with dopamine when they're playing video games that anything else is going to be less interesting and less exciting. And they're going to be not so happy to have that source of dopamine removed. So, looking for ways to bring in the love, show that you're an ally, and then set the limit and lead them to the next step that's leading to what you really need them to do, like take out the trash, pick up toys, clean up the room. Okay. um so and I want to also have you think about this is a bookend. Beginning of the day, the end of the day. Think about how you can bookend the day with this rule as well. The last 5 minutes of the day, as everybody's winding down, getting into bed, how is the tone in your relationship? Last night, I went to tuck in my daughter, and she'd said something really unkind to her younger brother. And I was, hugging her, gave her some kisses, and just, it was fine. I said, I really don't like that you said that to your brother, and let's see that we can find a better way to resolve the issue. The issue was the bathroom. She needs to use the bathroom. He's in there brushing his teeth. He wouldn't leave. She was getting desperate and upset. So I was like, we can talk about this tomorrow with him and make sure it's clear. If someone needs to use the toilet, they get priority. But I could tell that she just kind of clammed up. She didn't like that I was telling her what she could have done differently in that last moment together for the day. And she was like, well, you need to teach him to respect people. And I don't know, it turned into a, mom blame. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to step out of the room. I didn't like that. And I closed the door and I was like, yeah, I hate that when my kids are like, you're so easy on that one and you don't discipline them well enough. And I'm just like, I'm doing my best, people. Doing the best I can. Um, but I didn't want to leave the day like that. I didn't want to end the night with that. I just felt like, if I'm going to start the day with love and nurturing, I want to end it that way too. So I went back and I said, oh, I'm really sorry. And again, I'm going to talk to him tomorrow. We'll get together. We'll make sure everybody's clear on what the expectations are around the bathroom and whose turn it is. But I just want you to know how much I love you. and I've appreciated you, and I named things that I was grateful for that she did that day, and just how much I love her and appreciate her. And I don't know how much it helped her. It's up to her. It's up to her how she's going to receive my offers of connection. Um, but I just felt like, as the adult, I need to be responsible enough to care what tone I'm setting and what how I'm going to leave an interaction. And especially at the end of the day, before their brains are settling into sleep, I want them to be able to relax and feel loved and go to sleep with that feeling. I hate sending kids to bed, and that's it. Like, they did something wrong and get sent to bed, and then you don't see them till the next morning, and they've taken themselves and had to, put themselves to sleep feeling awful. I don't like that at all. So, we want to make these efforts of closing up the day as well. And noticing when we kind of maybe bring something up, I shouldn't have brought that up right then. That was our 5 minute closing rule. And I brought up something that she had done wrong and I didn't like, and I wanted her to see how she could do better, but this wasn't the time. Bedtime can also be that connecting time. Make it peaceful. My youngest, he likes it when I sing to him. I'll sing a couple songs. My daughter will ask for that too sometimes. Or if we can read together, I really enjoy that. Think about this, how you can find ways to build connection at the beginning of the day, every time you interact, and start the conversation, start the interaction in a positive and loving and nurturing way. And then try to end the day also using that 5 minute rule, the last 5 minutes of the day or longer. This number is just made up. We can say whatever we want. You might want to say, well, the first 30 minutes, I want to be just really connected. Or the last hour of the day is just us bonding, and we're just in bed and reading books together, and we're just going to cuddle, and it's going to be beautiful. Do that. What's best for you, you know. You can find that. You feel it. When you become mindful, when you tune into yourself, you can tell when something feels good or feels off. And that feeling of, this just doesn't feel quite right, that's your signal for yourself, from yourself, that you can make an adjustment. Just like last night when I was like, did not like going to, like, leaving my daughter with that kind of a yucky feeling. She's blaming me and she's accusing me of not being a good mom. And I'm like, oh. And so noticing that, I just didn't feel right. I went back and I tried to reassure her and repair that. Parents, it's just what we do, a lot of repairing. So we do a lot of breaking, we do a lot of repairing. But I want you to think about that, the 5 minute greeting rule. And if you want the 7 other tips, right to your email inbox. I'll put the link in the comments. And whether you're seeing this on Facebook or on YouTube, the link will be in the comments. My name is Michelle Cox. I'm a certified life coach for kids and parents and anyone who wants to learn about their nervous system and build stronger relationships, because, like this says, strong communities start at home. Parents, we have a beautiful job, an incredible gift to be parents, and how we treat our kids sets them up for a good and beautiful future. Let's treat them with dignity. Let's treat them with love. Let's treat them with respect and be very clear about limits. We can set very clear limits and boundaries without becoming angry, without mistreating our children. We can stay as far away from abuse as possible, and we can help our children to grow up knowing that they are a person of value, a person of capacity, a person of worth. If you did not grow up with that, you have a chance now to change the story for your children. What a gift you are to the world, to be the game changer, to be the chain breaker. You get to change and decide and choose how you are going to create a new legacy. I applaud you and I honor you for having that courage. I feel so thankful I was born to and raised by really wonderful parents. They're still married 50 years later. I never felt mistreated by them. And I'm so grateful for that. And that's something that I feel like, whew, I've really got to live up to that and give that to my kids. And I know that's not the case for everyone. So if you did not grow up in a home where there was that kind of love and kindness and dignity, you now get to give that to your kids, and how blessed they are to have you. So thank you for joining me, and I hope that you sign up for the email series and that it's a delight that you get every week and you learn something new and feel empowered to be an incredible parent, because you are. So thanks for being here today, and I'll see you next week.